Good morning. Welcome to Tip Off today. Again, as I have been the last few days, I want to thank everybody for all the suggestions, and I'd please ask you to keep them coming. The other cool thing is just whenever someone mentions to me this has become a part of their day, it definitely makes it worthwhile. We are amping this up, going to bring this to a new level. Locked on Jazz is going to become more and more of my focus and try to really build the Locked On Jazz portal, I guess you could call it. I don't know what the official term is, into a unprecedented NBA spot that I really don't think anybody else in the NBA, any other play-by-play announcer or beat reporter of an NBA team for an NBA team has done yet, and that's going to be the focus coming up. And I think we've got the model from listening to you, but again, it's still fluid in there. So, it's always fluid, but send me your suggestions at dlock@utahjazz.com. There's an E on the end of lock. As of right now, we're going to try to tip off every morning. On most days, we'll try to have another podcast for you for afternoon, so kind of a morning drive to work if possible. Though I know a lot of people watch this at night, and then a podcast for you at a longer point. The podcast, from all the suggestions I've received, you'd like to hear from Jazz broadcasters Boone, Harpring, and Bowler. Big T. You like the Scout. You like Gordy Chiesa, is what got back to me. Kevin and O'Connor and I will continue our conversations as well. And then I think we'll do a Friends of Locke, which is the various people I get along with around the league, and try to put out about 4 of those a week. PK and I also doing another. Hope you guys like that. I actually didn't get a lot of comments on that, so hopefully I enjoy doing that. So hopefully you guys like that. And then in regards to what you'll see on the site, so that'll be the podcast element. And the sites we're gonna do film studies, like we did with Gordon Hayward. We'll do screenshots, kind of scouting reports, so you can see certain plays, and then we'll do our various stories. The only question I then had was whether there was, and I was trying to figure out how to structure this. Is there certain stat things you like, lock offensive rating, or other things that maybe I kind of you're getting out every day? So like Mondays I do this, Tuesdays I do this, Wednesdays, you got it. So anyway, that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds of wasted time right there. Jazz, huge week. We are home tonight against Portland, Wednesday against the Clippers, and then Saturday against the Lakers. There's a great ticket package available that includes the Wednesday game and the Friday Oklahoma City game, both coming up here. And you can buy both of them for $58. Operators 325-2999. If you're a businessman, those are both 8:30 starts, so those are pretty good because they're late, but they mean you can do the client dinner beforehand and all of that. So keep an eye on those ticket packages available. Laker game on Saturday, Portland on Monday. Huge day yesterday in the NBA. I'll touch on briefly. The Eastern Conference may have just shook out yesterday. I mean, really, the Eastern Conference may have shook out. There's no way anybody in the league is as good as Chicago and Miami, maybe in the entire league. No apologies to Oklahoma City, but I just thought those two teams looked better. Incredible that Rose misses both those free throws. He had not missed a fourth quarter free throw prior to that. LeBron guards Wade for the final 5.5 of the game. I mean, we can have all the discussions about whether LeBron mentally is there yet, can win a championship. There's just no debate he's the most talented player in the league. It's really incredible. The idea he's the one guarding Rose, and it worked last year in the Eastern Conference Finals as well, is incredible. Boston, at home, with everybody healthy, gets beat by Cleveland on a Kyrie Irving buzzer beater on the back end of a 12-0 run. If that's not the day they put your tombstone on top of you, I don't know what is. And Orlando, for the third time in 4 games, just turns it off during the middle of the game and gets blown out by Indiana. I really think the East is clear. Chicago and Miami are better than anyone else. Indiana and probably Atlanta are kind of the next tier of teams. Orlando's in there but they're the sideshow that we've avoided is clearly more than they can handle. I'm not even sure Boston's a playoff team. And I don't think I'm forgetting anybody else in the East. as a real contender. But those two teams are just impressively better than anyone else. And that is what was clear. We played a little game on Saturday. I didn't like Philadelphia. By the way, I probably should give some credit to. I just realized I forgot them. They have a they play Boston today, I think. Just in another one that could have some impact on just how people are perceiving things. So we did play on Saturday. I don't want to get a lot into it because um, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the arena on Saturday. I felt like I was calling a game inside a scrimmage. I felt like it was the Salt Lake Community College scrimmage. Um, and I didn't like it. And unfortunately, the reason I don't really want to talk about it is because I don't think I like the way anyone acted. And so if I really share all my thoughts, I'll just offend everyone, which I don't usually duck away from, but it's not really probably worth it. But just quickly, I don't understand why anybody would ever boo Jimmer. I don't get it. Um, I was in Seattle when Brandon Roy, who was probably the best player ever in the University of Washington history, took them to heights they'd never been before. Was every bit the college player. He didn't win College Player of the Year, but I mean, took him to number one seed, took him deeper in the tournament, took him to the Elite Eight, all those things. He came back with Portland. Crowd cheered him on intros. There was a spattering of applause, but the idea that the entire arena somehow was cheering for one player and in a close game chanting, "We want Jimmer," with 5 minutes, like a 3-point game with like 3 minutes left, booing when he went out on offensive and defensive substitutions. It just wasn't an NBA game. So that's what I didn't like. I'm not telling you how to be a fan. I'm just telling that, I guess to some extent I'm paid to share my opinion. I didn't like it. Okay? I didn't like the atmosphere. It didn't feel like an NBA game. It felt like a sideshow. Um, and that was discouraging to me. So, as somebody said, I didn't hear about it. I guess they threw stuff on the floor in Provo. We got a pretty good track record going right now. This is impressive. So, everyone's welcome to do what they want to do. That was surprising me. I've never experienced it before, never seen it before, um, and didn't like it. Okay, and you know what? You can tell me this. Stick it. That's the one thing for those of you that really get bothered. Can we get it? Can we get over the fact that when we disagree, it's not personal. You're welcome to go. That's what you want to do. You're welcome to go do it. And then to some extent, by clicking on this, you're asking my opinion, and so I'm sharing. And all right, so we don't agree. We probably don't agree on immigration policy either. So let's just discuss it and not have a crazed thing about it. Anyway, that's that would just be a thought on that. Um, and I'm really am a bit stunned that I got a picture from somebody. Oh, Jimmer got fouled. Okay, everybody gets fouled every play in the NBA, buddy. But if you're a college fan, you don't know that. All right, so I thought Jimmer, since that seems to be the focus, looked better. And I've watched a ton of Jimmer this year because I know the interest level, and he looks a lot better in the last 4 games. He is figuring out how to score in the NBA. He is occasionally regressing back to, I did this in college, and oh, crap, I can't do this now. But he is doing that much less than he used to, and he does look a good deal better. I think he's helped right now by starting and playing 30-plus minutes a night. I think that allows him to play in the flow a bit more the last 4 games, and I think that's going to be an issue of when he's not starting, whether or not he's able to learn how to play 16 minutes a night. And I do think there's a chance he's going to become a 16-minute-a-night player in the NBA, so that's going to be something he's got to figure out. The next thing on the game, it was great to see Gordon. It was an awful game. The Jazz played terribly. They fell completely into the Sacramento method of playing. But on the back end of a back-to-back, you just take wins in the schedule. And so you'll take it. It was not pretty. Ron Boone insists they'll play better tonight against Portland. And frankly, we're going to learn an awful lot this week. Portland Clippers at Golden State on the back end of a back-to-back, which is never easy, and the Lakers at home. And then it's over. You better come out and see this team if you want to, because we then play 5 home games until March 12th. And then we play 5 home games for the next month after that. So this is your chance to come see these guys. The operator number is 325-2999. But more so, This is the Jazz final chance to put a stamp on things. When the year started, I would have been pleased with a 1-3 stretch out of this. Portland Clippers, Golden State Lakers. I would have said, all right, 1-3. Now, if you get 2-2 or 3-1, I think you're very, very pleased. And I don't think 4-0 is feasible, but maybe. This team's got to get a little bit back on track. The Raja Bell injury is a huge injury. If he is unable to go, you're playing Wesley Matthews, Caron Butler, Monte Ellis, and Kobe Bryant this week. And a bunch of people don't understand the value of Raja. You do now. If he misses a week. And more importantly, if Raja had these injuries last year and then his body never bounced back, and they're adductor injuries, and that's really where his season derailed to some extent last year, and or never recovered might be the better way to say it. And to me, that's what's most disturbing about these injuries. It'll be nice because a guy like Alec Burks is going to get time. Burks busted 2 threes the other night. He's now the second best team in three-point play on the team in three-point shooting, which doesn't say a lot. It's kind of like being the second best chocolate chip cookie at a gluten-free store with the only non-gluten-free chocolate chip cookie. I don't know where that analogy came from. That wasn't good. But anyway, I sound like the Blues Travelers now. My mind is clearly going in 1,000 directions this morning. I think so. That injury's big, and that's where we are in the season. These things are going to kind of click in. Josh Howard doesn't seem quite right. And you have two guys that are 30 years old plus. Questions about their legs. This season is exposing a lot of that. Depth becomes important. Fabulous to see Gordon Hayward going, and so much, expectations on Gordon. But worth remembering, this was only the third time in Gordon's career he ever dropped 20. One was in L.A. against Kobe, that great game, and the other was against Denver on the final game of the season when, frankly, the Nuggets weren't really playing. They didn't play any of their starters. They were getting ready for the playoffs. So, that's a huge night for Gordon. He has not been a big-time scorer. He has not been a guy that puts up 20 points. We want him to be more aggressive. It's never who he's been. I talked with Gordon for a long time the other day, and just about his career. And the reality on his career is he was a good player, but he was a tennis player also. His freshman year, he plays JV. His sophomore year, he plays JV in high school and is on the bench, doesn't play at all as a sophomore. He goes up to varsity, doesn't play. His junior year, I think he averaged like 7, 8 points. It wasn't until his senior year that he really got going. And then he plays 2 years at Butler. So to some extent, he's in his either 5th or 6th year of his basketball career, and he's doing it in the NBA. We chuckled about that. And that just gives you an idea of the youth, and what's going to take for him to understand who he is every night. I mean, I think at best he's a 13, 14 point a night guy, and he's going to have to find a way to get that each night with 4 or 5 rebounds and 4 or 5 assists. That's what we're hoping for out of Gordon. Anything more, I think, is unrealistic to what his game is and who he is. But he's a fabulous facilitator from the forward position. I think he can get guys into defensive positions they're not used to in the pick and roll and things of that nature on the wings. And he can create for other people. He's going to have to get better with his handle. He's got a little bit of a high handle, but he's 6'9", that's why, to be able to do a lot of these things. But and hit the outside jump shot, which he just simply didn't hit for 11 straight threes. And when he does, those will be the things that get him to 12, 13, 14 points a game. And his other game, he's got a rebound, which is something he did in college, and get the assists. And he looked better in a lot of regards there. Favors got us 2 post moves the other day, so I thought he looked better. And it was nice to see a Jazz team with Millsap, credit to his 14 rebounds, and Jefferson. I thought the two of them looked gassed. And that's a concern. Last year there was a feeling that those two guys played 30, 35 minutes a night, and that's a lot of burden on them to play 30, 35 minutes a night, and that it eventually wore them out. So that is a huge burden for those guys, and we have to see how they deal with it. And here we have a week where we play 4 games and then venture on the road. Speaking of venturing on the road, we are in New York we arrive in New York Super Bowl Sunday night. That could be crazy. Tuesday we go to Indiana, so we'll get the backside of the Super Bowl. There's a crazy story that Orlando is scheduled to play in Indianapolis Super Bowl Sunday, and they can't get or either the Monday after, and they can't get a hotel room. there aren't any available, so they're going to have to fly to Cincinnati, spend the night in Cincinnati, and they get from Cincinnati to Indianapolis on game day. How's that for a bit wacky? Stan Van Gundy, none too happy about that with his ongoing assault on the league. All right, that's where we are as a ball club. A lot of stuff tonight. Portland comes into this one. Offensively, they're scuffling a little bit. They're not shooting well, but they're getting to the line. They're about the 12th best offensive team and the 5th best defensive team. So they're pretty darn good at 12-8. They are only 3-7 on the road. Aldridge is unbelievable, and remember, it was last year that Portland, I thought, in back-to-back games in late December, right about this point of the season, completely exposed the Jazz for some defensive flaws, and everybody in the league followed after that. And we will see whether or not the Jazz can do things differently and defend that better today. This will be very difficult to put together, but maybe I can put together some sort of a little screenshot for you today on Locked On Jazz about where it went wrong last year, and maybe I can even find some examples of where it went right this year. All right, that is our tip-off. I hope you're enjoying these, and as always, keep me up in touch with what you want. This is becoming my primary focus to really amp this up, take it to the level I've always wanted to take it to. My vision 2 years ago when I became the radio voice was that this would go to new heights, and I'm going to get the chance to push this through for you to brand new levels now with increased focus. Yes, there might be a redesign coming. So I didn't say that. So anyway, if you stayed for all 1642 today, you got a little secret. It is the tip-off. Have a good one.